Hello everyone, welcome. In this video we are going to learn how to implement infinite scroll along with caching. So here I have created our basic React app. Inside this source we will start by creating our fetch images function. So fetch images function will give you the images that we see on the screen. Those are all the dummy images. We are just using a JSON placeholder API for that. So let's start by creating a fetch images.js, and this will be our simple function. We'll just export this. Inside this fetch images function, we are using a JSON placeholder API. This is a paginated API. So the paginated API usually returns the result in such a way that we need to pass a page value as well as the limit to this. It will give us a certain set of values. So basically the limit that we have set, those many amount of values for each page we will get. For example, for first page, let's say I have set a limit of 40. So for first page, I will get 40 images. For second page I will get a set of next 40 images, and for the third page I will get the set of next 40 images. So this is how it will continue. Okay, so now we will start by creating our image list component. So we will quickly create one file as name as image list.js. Here we will first import React. So let's just quickly import React from React. Once React is imported, we will quickly go ahead and create our image list component. Let's name it as image list. Let me create an anonymous function for this. This will return us the UI that we are going to create. So before creating the UI, we will go ahead and create some state variables for this. So initially we will be creating one state variable as images. So let me name it as images and set images. We will be using the useState hook to maintain its state. So let's just use the useState hook. Here initially we will just let's keep the images as an empty array. Initially it will be an empty array, and then we will fill it according to the result that we get from the fetch images function. So here we have created one state variable images. Let's create one more for our page that we are going to cache. So let me name it as page and set page. This also will be initially set to 1. We will create, so to show the loader we will quickly create one more state variable named as isFetching. So let's create isFetching. Initially this will be false. Okay, then we will quickly go ahead and create a use effect hook, so that initially as soon as the user comes to our website, and as soon as our website is loaded, we need to quickly make an API call and get the result and fill out the images state variable with the images that is written from the JSON placeholder API. So let us just quickly go ahead. So I have created our use effect hook. Let's go inside this. Let's quickly create one function, load images. So this will be an asynchronous function because we are making an API call. Let's create an asynchronous anonymous function. Inside this we will just go ahead and set isFetching, because we need to show the loader, because now we have started the process of fetching the images. So we have made the state variable of fetching to true, set it to true. Then we will go ahead and quickly get the images. So I will just create one dummy variable as new images, where it will go ahead and call fetch images, the function that we created. Here we need to pass the page. So we will just use the state variable that we created. Initially the state has 1, so the page will be 1, and let's set the limit as 40 for this. So initially for first page, get me the 40 images from the API. Once this is done, we will quickly go ahead and set our images with the new images that we have got, and we will also go ahead and set isFetching to false again, because now the images has been fetched. So once this is done, we will quickly go ahead and call our load images, the use effect. Now once we have our images, let's just quickly go ahead and create a small UI to see this on the screen. So we will just quickly map over the images that we will be having. So images dot map, I'm using an optional chaining because images initially it's just for a more safety purpose that I'm using an optional chaining. You can also skip that, because anyhow you have set the initial variable as empty array, But there might be a case if you are setting it as an object or anything, there might be cases where it might go null. So it's a best practice to use optional chaining whenever if any of the state variable is getting filled from any of the API calls. Now inside the images map, I will just quickly go ahead and image. By default, map provides you with the index, so we have that as well. Then inside this, I will quickly create one img tag. So our img, we need to first pass a key. So key will be my index because that will be the unique value that I have. Source will be my image.url. My alternate would be nothing but image.title. And let me quickly give the styling as well. So I will just give it the width of 350 pixel. So I have the width. Let's give it a height. Let's set it as auto. Let it expand according to the UI that we are going to have. And let's just also add some margin to each of the cards. So I'm just using 10 pixel as the margin from all the sides. And let's just show this as well. So because we want to show loading more images anyhow when we scroll as well, so let's just keep it below this images only. So we'll just use this is fetching. So if is fetching is true, then at that moment just quickly go ahead and show. Let me just write it in the div. Let's just quickly go ahead and okay, let me use some h3 here and use loading more images. Okay, so now let's export this image list. Use export default image list. Now let me go to my app.js because this is our the parent app.js. We'll just quickly call the image list here. Let me quickly run this. Okay, let's npm start. Just to do this. Okay, so now as you can see, our images are loaded properly. So we have the like each of the row has like 5 images in it, and total 40 images are now loaded here. So now let's go ahead and add our handles like the scrolling, where we once if we reach the end of the scroll, then the new set of images like the page 2 with the 40 images should be added here. Okay, so let's start by creating our handle scroll function. Let's quickly create handle scroll. Inside this, we will add one if statement where we will check if window.innerHeight. So this window.innerHeight will give us the visible height that the currently visible region when the user has scrolled. This we will add our document element dot scroll top. So this will give us the this value, this document element dot scroll type will give us a value of how much the user has scrolled, plus we are adding the amount of region that is visible, and we are checking if this amount is actually greater than or equal to the total height of the document, like the total height of the web page that we have. So then document element dot scroll height. So the total height, if it's greater than equal to this total height, and we will also add -5 to this so that we have some buffer. So buffer for this, because we don't want to make the API call when it's at the absolute end. So that's why we are adding this -5 for some buffer, that while user is scrolling, it's better and it's more smooth for the user to see this. And we'll also add one more check that and then if it's not in the like if there shouldn't be any fetching that has already been going on there. So that's why we are adding that if the is fetching function is itself is false. So that's why we are adding that. If this condition is true, we will first start with setting our is fetching to true, so that we show our loading image, the loading image text. Then we will go ahead and set the page with whatever the page that we already have in the state +1, so that we get the value of the next page for this. Then we will go ahead and get our const new images, where we'll make the API call. So here we will quickly call fetch images. Let me make this function as async function. Okay, now here we need to pass the page. So let's quickly pass the page and the limit. as 40. So this will be for the next page. So because we have already done the page plus one, that's why. And once this is there, we'll go ahead and we create one more variable, const update images. Inside this update images, what we will do is whatever images we already have. So let's just spread this inside an array. We will first use the spread operator to spread whatever images that we already have in the state. Then go ahead and whatever new images that we have now got from the API call, go ahead and add those inside this array. So now we will have a total array of 80 values inside this updated images. And however the user is moving, it will keep on going adding and adding in the updated images. Once the updated image is there, we'll go ahead and set this updated images inside our set update images state. So we'll just go ahead and update images. So now this will go ahead and set the images. Also we need to do one more thing, that is that we need to make our set is fetching to false, because now we are done with adding all of those to this. So now our handle scroll function is done. So now let's just go ahead and quickly create one use effect hook, because we need to listen to this this handle scroll function needs to be continuously listened on when this needs to be called. So that's why we'll go ahead and create one use effect hook. Inside this use effect hook, we will go ahead and use this window dot add event listener, so that we are able to add an event listener of the scroll function when the user is scrolling. And we will pass the scroll because we want to listen to the scroll event of the user. Here we will go ahead and call this function handle scroll. So once this is there, we need to use the cleanup function as well. So we'll just quickly go ahead and do this window dot remove event listener, and we want to remove the scroll listener from here, so that when the user is we need to do the cleanup function for the use effect as well, so that there isn't any memory related issues for the window object. Once this is done, we will quickly go ahead and add a handle scroll to our dependency array as well. Now as you can see, as soon as we have added this handle scroll to our dependency array, the VS Code has given us one warning that this handle scroll will be called on every render. So to prevent this, what we can do is we can use one hook called as use callback hook. So this will help us to call this function only when certain values are changed inside this. So here we also get one dependency array inside the use callback hook, where we can pass the parameters on the change of which this handle scroll function should work. So here inside this dependency array, the main thing is when the page is changed, as well as when is fetching is changed. So for these two values, we want the handle scroll to run each and every time whenever the user changes this. So let's just go ahead and quickly take a look at how our UI is looking now. Let me reload it. So now as soon as I move down, you can see the new values are getting added. So now our handle scroll is working good. So now let's just go ahead and cache this value. Now to implement caching, we will be using session storage. So session storage is provided by the browser itself. Inside session storage, what happens is we can input any data in the string format and it will be saved for that session. So if as soon as the user opens our website, a session is activated by the browser itself, and we can use the storage to store any value that we want. So even if the user reloads our website, the session stays active and we can fetch the data directly from there. But if the user has closed our website or the tab on which he has opened, once it is closed, the session is deactivated and our data gets lost. So whenever the user opens the website again, then the new session is activated and we can again input the data there. If you want to persist this data, then we need to use local storage. So local storage actually persists the data whenever even if the website is closed, the data is still stored there. So if the user again opens it, we can fetch directly data from there. But currently for this website, because we want to only take the data and store it there for because we don't want to persist it across multiple tabs or anything, we will just use simply session storage and store the data there. Let's remove this from here and add our check. So what we will do is we quickly write one small function where we'll check if we have const cached images, and we will check if our session storage and from session storage we can use a get item. So get item will pass the key that we have set for it. So the session, so the get item dot cached images will give us all the cached images that it might have, and then we will just quickly return from here the cached images if we have those. So if we have the cached images, that will be, if it's not undefined or null, then in that case we will just use json.parse, because we have stored it as a string. So the return also gives so the session storage get item actually gives you the stringified version of it. So we need to actually parse it back. So we'll use json.parse and parse our cached images, else we will return an empty array in that case. So now let's start coding it up. So quickly we'll use session storage dot set item. So set item needs a key value pair, so we will use as a cached images as a key, and because anything in the browser storage needs to be stored as a string, so we will use quickly json.stringify to stringify our this new images object. So this has been stringified, the array that we have quickly stringified it and stored in our session storage. Now as soon as we load our website, our session storage will contain the new images that has come there. So because now we have this in the session storage, we need to actually change our initial logic of how we have, because initially we have an empty array set for our images, but now because our session might be containing these values, we need to first check if our session has those values, then we need to return those values, else we need to set it as an empty array. So we can then just quickly go ahead and add that check here. So now there is one more thing which is pending from our end, because now we have added our session storage. We are making this load images call every time we reload the website, but now we have our cached if the user has as soon as he has loaded the images, we have cached it there. So even if he reloads it, what we need to do is we need to quickly check if our images dot length, if it's greater than 0, that means our session storage has the images. In that case, just don't go ahead and make another call, we will just quickly return it from there, so that continuous API calls are not made in that case. So go ahead and quickly inside our handle scroll, because as soon as the user scrolls, the new images are also added. So we need to also store those images as well in the session. So we'll just quickly go ahead and use our session storage dot set item images. Yes, and here our dependency array is giving issue because we are using images here, and I think so we are good with it. Let's see our results now. So let's reload this. Okay, we have our data. Let's move down. Okay, let's move. Okay, and let me reload it. So as you can see, we have all our data stored. Even if I am reloading, you see there is no new API calls that has been done, and all the stored data is coming here. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to connect or follow for more insights. Let's keep learning and growing together. Drop your thoughts or questions in the comments, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you.